Time flows at a different speed in different places. The past and the future differ far less than we might think, and the very notion of the present evaporates in the vast universe. With this extraordinary charm and sense of wonder, bringing together science, philosophy, and art, Carlo Rovelli unravels this mystery.
Pause this video right now. Go and read The Order of Time by
Carlo Rovelli, narrated by the man, the myth, the legend himself, Benedict Cumberbatch, the one and only.
Yeah.
And when you've read it, you can join us for the discussion.
Or you can join us anyway, because we're going to tell you all about it. My name's Elijah.
And I'm Joseph, and welcome to the Aisha Library.
So what did you think of the book?
Before I say what I think of the book, let me ask you a question. Did the narration of Benedict Cumberbatch elevate it much in your...
Exponentially, infinitesimally.
Was he the best part of the book?
Of course he was. You know, I mean, he done what he always does.
Did his thing.
He read the book like he wrote it. You know, he does his thing
when
where he
was
starts
like,
speeding up.
Nah, he's fantastic. He's fantastic.
Yeah, no, he's just a showman. He's really
fantastic.
is.
He's the greatest showman.
Yeah, he really is. So that means he must read a page and then decide how he's going to do it, because you can't do that off rip.
You can't do it verbatim, yeah.
Surely you can't do that off rip. So yeah, no, but he done it. He done his thing.
He done his thing.
I
think what's interesting is I didn't even really... Obviously, we know him from Sherlock days, innit? And obviously on Sherlock, he was fantastic.
I mean, that was the first place.
He was fantastic as Sherlock, but sometimes, you know, you can be made for a role.
He's like Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, but this is why I say he's not like Ryan Reynolds. This is why I say he's not like Ryan Reynolds, because Ryan Reynolds, as Deadpool, it's a self-portrait, right? And whenever you see him in other roles, it's a very Deadpool-ish performance. Ryan Reynolds.
Benedict Cumberbatch is the same thing.
No, he's not the same thing. He's not the same thing. He's similar, but it's not the same thing. Because when he was Doctor Strange, he was still fantastic, but he wasn't the same thing. No. Did you ever watch Doctor Strange?
Yeah. Slightly different.
I don't know if you could say.
You know, he's a bit cooler.
He was a lot cooler first.
He's a bit cooler.
Rich neurosurgeon.
Yeah, he was a bit cooler, but he's still weird. He's still very verbose. It's the same. It's the same thing.
I don't know if it's the same. I don't know if
Same
it's the
thing.
same. I don't know if it's the same.
And I wouldn't change him for the world.
Yeah, well, on that we could agree. But then again, he was Smaug in Lord of the Rings, you know?
I never watched that. Wait, back in the day?
No, sorry, The Hobbit. He was Smaug in The Hobbit. So the 2010s reboot of Lord of the Rings.
Maybe I haven't watched enough, but I watched him in...
Well, he was only the voice...
I watched him in Imitation Game.
Imitation Game, where he was like sort of weird, autistic kind of genius.
Same sort of thing. So yeah. I liked Benedict. We spent all the time speaking about Benedict Cumberbatch instead of the actual book.
That's how you know.
Well, I hope they paid him his money. I'm sure they did. Because it's funny because I think it plays into the character of him. So you know, these people, successful people, they only take the jobs, certain jobs, and he saw this job and thought, this helps my character because Benedict Cumberbatch is a smart asshole. You know, he's amazing. So it plays into everything. But
you know, he can't say penguins. There's a thing about he can't say penguins. So like he was on a national wildlife documentary, voiceover, same sort of thing, and there's penguins, and he would be like, penguins. And then he said it like 1,000 different times. People was like, why do you keep saying it like that? He was like, penguins. And like he can't say the word penguins. It's funny.
But one thing I liked about this book, it gave me certain terms that sound interesting. And also there was a bit of humour to it as well. I mean, it was very much a small amount.
A smidgen.
But certain things, you say these things and it's going to make you sound smart.
Oh, absolutely. I've got my favourite. One of my favourite.
Heat is the microscopic agitation of chemicals and molecules. And you know, you say that to someone, they're like, this guy knows what he's talking about.
That's crazy, because in Benedict Cumberbatch's voice, that just sounds like...
It's just sophisticated.
You know, it sounds like I'm being condescended to. I love it.
No, but this is the thing. He's got that funny... He doesn't sound... He's not a Richard Dawkins condescending sort of
No, but Richard Dawkins...
You know he's smarter than you, but he's just reading.
He's just telling you about it. Richard Dawkins actually was a cunt. He sounded like he was a condescending asshole.
And there was a tiny bit of humour as well. There was a part where he said, it only takes a few micrograms of LSD to expand our understanding and experience of time.
I was like, are you suggesting... Because remember, Sherlock Holmes is a drug addict, you know? I don't know if you remember that. Sherlock Holmes is a drug addict. Like, bro, you can't get off the drugs. Like, he's always on cocaine, morphine, all of them. He's on all the drugs. And, you know, Mycroft's always trying to get him off the drugs.
So yeah,
is he trying to get us on drugs?
One thing, Benedict Cumberbatch. If not for him, I probably would have gave up with the book.
The only other famous narrator we've had was Billy Piper on We Play Games,
which I read that again this week.
Did you?
Well, I've got an hour left because because we read this book and it was short. I was kind of playing.
Oh, okay. So
but when we played games, it was
fantastic! One of my favorite books. I think Billy Bobby did a really good job as well.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to check. Yeah, it was very good.
Gravity stretches time. Did you know that an atomic clock on the top of Mount Everest would move faster than one at sea level? This is due to a phenomenon known as gravitational time dilation, my new favourite phrase, a product of Einstein's theory of general relativity that shows that mass can warp space-time. Things age differently closer to the Earth's core than farther away. When measured correctly, scientists conclude that the Earth's core is 2.5 years younger than its surface. That is the most mind-fucky statement. Probably top 10 things you never thought you would say this morning when you woke up, you know. The Earth's core is 2.5 years younger than its surface because gravity warps time the closer you get to it. So these massive bodies, they warp time and they warp space and they warp pretty much everything, which is why nothing can escape a black hole, not even light, you know, because the center of gravity is so strong.
And the funniest thing is that 2.5 years is nothing in the grand scheme of.
Of course not.
Was it 8 billion years? So,
8 billion years, yeah.
But yeah, that is quite interesting though, which is, you know. And you've kind of discounted my first whole point.
Do you know what's interesting? 100%. Do you know what's interesting? How the bloody hell did Einstein know any of this? Like 100 years ago, whatever it was. Huh?
He didn't have no talk.
He was just sitting in his house thinking.
Yeah.
How the bloody hell did he know any of this?
I'm going to top yours. I'm going to try it anyway. Wait, what? Did I say something?
You almost said something. You was like, I'm going to top. I was like, what? You're like, yours.
That's still...
Glad you said yours.
Still a bit. Anyway. Time might not exist at all.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't.
Physicists like Julian Barber propose a radical idea. Time is not a fundamental property of the universe. Imagine the universe as a giant photo album where every snapshot exists all at once. What we perceive as time is simply our mind flipping through these photos in sequence. These nows, individual moments, are independent and don't flow into each other. In this view, what we call time is just the illusion of transitions between these moments. Quantum mechanics also adds weight to this perspective. Experiments suggest that particles don't flow a single consistent timeline, but exist in a state of probabilities. Time as a steady flow may emerge because of how humans observe and measure these particles. If true, the past, present, and future could all exist simultaneously, like layers in a cake, waiting for us to interact with them. This means that time is not something we move through, it is something we experience as part of our consciousness. This idea challenges the way we live. If time is just a construct, then the rigid diversions of yesterday, today, and tomorrow might just be arbitrary. The events of your childhood, the moment you're reading this, and even the distant future might all exist side by side in some larger reality that we can't yet comprehend. While it sounds mind-bending, this view aligns with theories about how our brains create reality themselves, not as it is, but how we perceive it. And I'm going to be honest, and I think you should be too. Did you understand any of that?
Listen.
Because although I was the one reading, I immediately stopped listening.
Listen, mind bending is not the word for it. This book bent my mind over and raw dogged it. Disgracefully, you know.
I was listening up until the photo album bit, and then after that, I was just like, what? But this is the problem with this book, with reading books like this, for scientists by scientists. It almost does a full circle back to fiction. None of this stuff is falsifiable. These are all theories. So is there a point of reading books about time, apart from listening to Benedict Cumberbatch all day? Also, as he was reading, do you think he had a clue what he was reading?
That's a good question, you know. Do you think at some points he was like...
Most points, or do you think he understood some of it? Because he's just an actor. You know, he's not... Well, I don't know if he's really intentional or whatnot.
He's not dumb.
He's not dumb. No, we don't know that, but you know...
He might not be intellectual on that level.
He plays this guy up here.
Yeah.
He might be a fucking idiot.
He might
be. He might be. So, yeah, do you think as he read this, he thought to himself, time.
Well, do you know what? I think on some level he must be interested in this kind of thing, or you wouldn't have taken the project. So maybe he has a background in...
Well, he might, but as I said, it helps his character.
Yeah, of course it does.
Plays into
you know what's funny about Benedict Cumberbatch? The one thing he never did that would have catapulted him to the moon.
Doctor Who.
He never played the Doctor, which is just
Wait,
crazy. Why didn't he play the Doctor?
I know what you was gonna say?
Because you know what the one thing he needed to do was.
No, but he is actually bigger than Doctor Who now. Because I mean, well, if we talk about what Doctor Who when David Tennant was Doctor Who, then maybe not.
I don't even know if we can talk about that because Benedict Cumberbatch, he's an Avenger. That's transcends.
Well, that's now, but back then he wouldn't have been.
Oh, okay, fair enough. But you know, the guy who played Mycroft, Martin Gatiss.
And Avengers don't mean nothing. It's Black Falcon, whatever his name's, an Avenger.
I don't care. It's a multi-billion. That's a huge production.
Yeah, but look,
and he's Doctor Strange as well. He's not Falcon.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If I'm Thor and you're Black Widow, we're not the same.
Well, I was going to say before you just said that, you know, to be an Avenger, it's a smaller slice of the pie, which might be bigger, but Doctor Who is a bigger slice of the pie.
Especially if you're the Doctor.
Well, I mean, if it's a bigger slice of the pie, it may be smaller, but you're smaller money, but it's a bigger slice of the pie. You are that guy.
Yeah.
So
100%.
You know,
I mean, depending on which Avenger you are, you might be the guy as
I mean,
well.
if you're
Tony
fucking Stark,
that's what I'm saying. Or Captain America, or Thor. One of them three, basically.
Yeah,
but Doctor Strange is he's very close in terms of.
He is close. He's not top 3.
No, he's definitely not top 3.
Power-wise, he might be, but not.
No, I think power-wise, bro, it's the women. It's bloody Captain Marvel and it's Scarlet Witch and it's Jean Grey, bruv. It's Jean Grey. It's not any of the niggas. It's the women. But yeah, no, I think Doctor Strange is very, very close to the top echelon of when you think about the things that he can do. He's got Infinity Stone as well.
Yeah, but he's not as popular as Hulk, though, is he?
No one's as popular as Hulk. I mean, the top 3 is actually Spider-Man, Wolverine, and Hulk. That's the top Marvel superheroes. Top 3 most iconic. Spider-Man, Wolverine, Hulk.
Iron Man?
Nah.
Really?
Remember when we used to play Marvel vs. Capcom, whatever, and Iron Man was on there? We was like, man, it's Robert Downey Jr. that made this guy popular.
Yeah.
Like, no one even really rated Iron Man like that back in the day. They know about Spider-Man, and really, it was Spider-Man, Batman, Superman. Those are actually the 3.
Yeah. Well, that's not Marvel. Batman.
No, but like in terms of superheroes, that's actually the 3.
Spider-Man,
no one knew. Captain America. Did anyone know about this guy before Chris Evans?
I think
he was a guy with the boots with the turn-ups.
There's a lot of people who probably disagree with us, but you're old and you read the comics.
Come on, man. You know, that's what I'm saying.
Let's get back to
and
the topic.
Superman had that curl on his, with his hair. Good quote from the book. Genius is the ability to understand something before it is observed. I really like having definitions where you can actually have a concrete, you can know what you mean when you refer to something, because genius is a word we use all the time and no one really agrees.
Decimate.
It's exactly like decimate, in fact. But no, it's not like decimate, because decimate we use incorrectly. Without a shadow of a doubt, we use it incorrectly. Genius, we might use it incorrectly.
So you don't know?
We don't know. But decimate, we know people are fucking that up. We know for a fact, because it's right there in the name, decimate.
Yeah. Reduce
exactly. The most relevant example of this from the book is, of course, Albert Einstein, who dared to suppose that gravity could warp time. When he said that, they must have said, what the hell have you been smoking? Because I need some. He's not the only example, however. Copernicus, the Polish polymath who proposed a heliocentric star system, so he supposed that the planets orbited the sun, not the other way around. They laughed at this guy. They said, you're a crazy lunatic.
Obviously, everything revolves around.
Oh, my God. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, they said it in Polish. But
I bet you think the planet's not flat or something
like that. The planet's round or something.
Fucking idiot.
Do you know what I mean?
Fall off the side.
Get him out. I particularly like this description of genius because it accounts for why people typically see geniuses as crazy. Maybe there's hope for you after all, Elijah. Because you're crazy.
Yes,
I got just that. In case, because you're crazy, so we never know. But I particularly like that depiction of genius because it accounts for a lot, People typically see geniuses as crazy, and there's a very, very, very fine line. And it's
only blame them though. I mean, they say some outlandish things.
Oh, listen, if you've lived your whole life believing that the Earth is the center of the solar system, some guy says, well, actually, it's not. You're gonna be like, nutcase.
It's funny because it makes sense. I mean, even if think about it. Even to realize the Earth is rotating, right?
Yeah.
It makes sense because obviously gravity, it keeps everything pulled towards the Earth. It keeps everything on the surface or whatnot. But if you don't know,
and you can't feel it rotating,
we talk about it.
Imagine if someone said this house is rotating right now.
Like, shut up.
Exactly.
It's rotating at 1,000 miles an hour.
I'll rotate your jaw. 1,000 miles an hour is crazy as
You know
well.
what I'm saying?
Like, that's insane.
So yeah, no, it does make complete sense why these guys didn't understand. But what doesn't make sense is how the intelligent guys knew this stuff.
Exactly, and it's beyond intelligence. But it's kind of goes back to what you said. You know, the flat Earth people. They say, you know, if the Earth was curving, how come I can't see it? Which is like you expect. That's what people would be saying back in the day. You know, like if the Earth is spinning, how come I can't see it? Things like that, which is a very low IQ argument to have. I mean, right or wrong, it's a low IQ argument to have.
Yeah. Your brain lives in the past. It takes about 80 milliseconds for your brain to process information, meaning you're always experiencing the world as it was a fraction of a second ago. This lag is the reason why we cannot react instantly to fast events, like catching a ball or avoiding a collision. In a way, you're never truly living in the present moment. You're perpetually stuck in the past, reliant on your brain's approximation of reality. So when we say that we have the past, present, and future, that's a lie. We don't have the present, we only have the past, and do we even have the future? Who knows anymore? But can you imagine this book was so far above me that I would write notes, word for word, and then put them into ChatGPT to expand them and simplify them, just so I could understand it, and still, I was incapable. Still! So yeah, no, this book is not for the faint-hearted.
It's not for the faint-hearted. It's for dreamers and not thinkers.
Wow, that's actually an interesting point.
It's more for dreamers than thinkers, to be honest, because it's a lot of imagine if, and it's a lot
of if buts maybes.
A lot of if buts and maybes. I want absolutes. I want facts. You know, if your auntie had balls, she'd be your uncle, but she doesn't, so she's not.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in that is
wishy-washy. Wishy-washy. Not to say that it wasn't entertaining. It was entertaining.
If you like that sort of thing.
If you like that sort of thing, and who doesn't? You know. It's buts and maybes. Who doesn't? Who doesn't love a little bit? Possible quote of the day contender. All of the sons of Adam are part of one single body. They are of the same essence. When time afflicts us with pain in one part of that body, all the other parts feel it too. If you fail to feel the pain of others, you do not deserve the name of man. Now, I quite like this quote, even though it's incredibly disgraceful indoctrination. But the reason I like this quote mainly is because of the end. If you fail to feel the pain of others, you do not deserve the name of man. It is funny how people can believe stuff so staunchly that you clearly made up. Like, he clearly made this up. So it was, I forgot who it was that was in the book that said this, but it's basically a quote about empathy.
Yeah, I'm trying to understand what they mean though, because if it's something about a woman, cool, because you know women childbirth, Yeah. But what's that? Why was man have to feel the pain of?
Well, we're talking about empathy, you know, like feel the pain that you inflict on other people. And he said, if you do not feel the pain that you if you fail to feel the pain of others, you do not deserve the name of man. So it's kind of a statement about how our ability to empathize with other humans separates us from animals, even though we are animals, but it separates us from the wild animals.
Something like you need to take care of your people and your community because you preemptively feel their pain if you don't. So it's like you're taking a duty to look after your friends and family, to provide and protect, because you don't want to feel their pain because you already preemptively feel their pain. But that's quite interesting.
I mean, you've got another layer into what he may not even have meant when he said that quote, to be honest.
Well, because you can't, if you can't imagine people's pain, you can't truly be responsible for them.
And you can't be fearful of it either.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So you know, if you don't, let's just say you look after certain people and you're not scared that you might fail them, or you're not scared of the repercussions if you're not in charge, then you're the wrong person. So, and
also you need a sense of dread to be able to.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you're taking a job and you're like, if it goes bad, then fuck it, you're not the right man.
Yeah. Basically. And if you have a sense of dread, that means you on some level that you can connect with that emotion that you don't want later.
So that's
down
what
the
I
road.
assume they're saying. Oh, yeah, I could be wrong.
Yeah, if you have a sense of dread, you know what failure feels like, basically, because they say pain is the punishment of failure, and joy is a reward for success. So if you can feel dread. On some level, you know what it's like to fail at something. You know, you put your hand into a fire, you get burned, you failed.
You can at least imagine.
you felt it before to be able to imagine, to be able to conceptualize what it's like. You know, if you talk to a TV character, you know, Tom and Jerry or Simpsons or whatever, you talk to them, and you had to explain to them what is 3D. You know, you're talking to Bart Simpson. Explain to him what is 3D. You know, he's a 2D character. He has left, he has right. That's it. Explain what depth is. You can't explain what depth is. It goes in and out, innit? That's what you could say. And he's like, fuck does that mean? It goes in and out.
He's not going to understand.
You know, he's not going to understand. There's no perception of what that is. So if you can understand...
Talk to Harry Potter and tell him who J.K. Rowling is. He's not going to understand.
Well, she's cancelled now, innit? So...
Really?
Yeah, bro, well, they tried, but she's too rich and too successful to cancel completely. They can't silence her.
She's like the female Andrew Tate.
Yeah, no, legit. She literally is. So, like, they can't silence her.
Delete her works.
They can't. They've tried, bro.
You can't delete.
Do you know how many Harry Potter books have been burned?
No,
they've burned so many Harry Potter books, and she's literally like, "You're making me so much richer."
Joseph,
my name's in the
headlines.
headlines.
I tell you, only I don't know, a month ago or so, like the number 4 most popular book is The Order of Phoenix right now. In the top 10 charts.
Insane.
Right now.
She's on Bible levels.
We're not talking about most sold books. We're just talking about what's popular right now.
She's on Bible levels.
You know
100%.
What I mean?
She's on Bible levels. But what's interesting, they released obviously Hogwarts Legacy, the PlayStation game, and all the people that wanted to play it but didn't obviously want to support J.K. Rowling were assured that she would not be getting a cut from the Hogwarts Legacy game. Which I was like, how did you believe that? You think you can release a Harry Potter thing and J.K.'s not getting paid? She might take all of it. Forget. And J.K. Rowling literally went on Twitter and was like, you know, I got paid from all of this. Like, she was like, the statements, I got paid from all of this.
She didn't show statements. They never,
no, not statements, but she was like, I got paid from all of this.
Rich
like,
people, they don't like
forget
paying taxes. So
of course. She said, forget anything you thought. Forget it. If you buy this game, you know. So now they have to try and boycott the game.
Like, you know, I'm going to have to...
She's an elderly white woman, isn't it?
So you would?
I would. JK, just kidding.
Oh, good. Is it? How many you got?
I've got one left.
I've got 3. I was joking. I got one more.
I knew you had to be joking. I knew you had to be joking.
Is it my turn or your turn?
Yes, your turn.
Is it?
What did you say last? What's so funny out there?
Your brain lives in the past, 80 milliseconds.
Right, it's my turn then. What is the smallest unit of time that can be measured? Well, the answer is known as 1 Planck time. This is the time it takes for light to travel 1 Planck length, which is around 100th of a millionth of a trillionth of the diameter of a proton, which is so small that if an atom were the size of a football stadium, a proton would be the size of a marble. So a Planck, 1 Planck time, which is the smallest unit of time that any clock can measure, is the distance that it takes for light to travel 100th of a millionth of a trillionth of the diameter of a proton.
I thought I knew what he was on about until that bit.
Listen, it is literally 1 Planck length is the space it takes for light to travel 100th of a millionth of a trillionth of the diameter of a proton. Which is insane. And in 1 Planck time is the time it takes for it to do that. And it's infinitesimally, imperceptibly small. And is still much, much longer than I last in bed.
Longer than my dick.
You're getting 1 stroke. Take it or leave it. Maybe 2 on Christmas or the weekends.
Oh, dead. So what do you do with that?
Oh my, you just ponder it, innit? That's what philosophers do. They don't do anything. They just sit and think, you know?
Well, you definitely need some form of machinery to measure that one.
Yeah, no, they have something. Like, they got something. They're not just thinking this up or running the calculations or whatever. They got something. But they said the number is 10 followed by 43 zeros. And it's like 1 tredecillionth of a second or something like that. It is ridiculously small. It's imperceptible.
If you was to time it with a stopwatch, you'd have to...
It is not possible. The fact that you said you got 2, nah, it's not. Listen, do you know how small a proton is? They said if an atom is the size of a football stadium, a proton would be the size of a marble.
That's correct.
That is insane. We can't even comprehend scale on that size.
Well, I mean, you've definitely done a good job with the are liking them to size and whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just fascinating, useless shit.
The most useless thing I might have ever said in my life.
I'm gonna say my last one. Why time drags when you're bored or stressed? When you're bored, anxious, or experiencing a monotonous task, in these situations, your brain isn't releasing much dopamine and your focus shifts to time itself. Yeah. This heightened awareness can make each second feel drawn out and endless. For example, waiting for a bus or being stuck in traffic can make 5 minutes feel like an eternity. Negative emotions like anxiety or stress can amplify this perception as your brain becomes hyper-focused on the discomfort or anticipation. So what we've learned is time itself might not even be real, but even if it were real, our perception of the concept is so unreliable that it doesn't matter anyway. How can we be programmed to a point that if I talk about time in a normal manner, everybody would know what I'm talking about? Are we all stupid and wrong? We can't all be.
I think we're either all stupid or wrong. One or the other. Maybe some people are both.
No, we could... No, I felt like he was digging at me there. Some people are both. But yeah, no, this time topic, I mean, we've got nowhere. I've got nowhere anyway. So
do you know what? Myself, I don't feel, like I said about the last
I don't feel any more confident to speak about this like on stage or anything.
Yeah, of course not. You go to work, you hear some people talking about time. Have you ever had that feeling where, and this happened to me a lot since we started reading all these bloody books, but basically, you'll hear people who are ignorant about a topic talking about something that you're disgustingly educated on, and you'll just hear them talking, you're just like, you uneducated baboons. So maybe you hear someone talking about emotions or whatever. You may hear someone talking about food. I know you're like big into nutrition and fitness. You'll hear people talking about stuff like that.
Yeah, but sometimes what you know is so far advanced from what they know that it doesn't make sense to them.
There's no connect.
So what happened is, I was talking about at work, I was talking about the book we read, Why We Sleep. And I was talking about certain things, and I said, well, the funny question, the amazing question isn't why we sleep. It's why we would ever wake up. And one of these guys said, well, that's stupid, And the point was that when you sleep, there's so many benefits to sleeping. Your body does everything it could ever need. I mean, it repairs everything. It does everything when you're sleeping. Yeah. When you're awake, is literally just a reason to find food. And even if
get away from predators.
Exactly. Get away from predators and find food. And even when you find food and eat it, when you sleep is when it really uses that food. But they couldn't get the fact that being asleep is more important than being awake, because what being asleep to them is just like what you do for a couple of hours at night time, just so that you can be awake again. But no, you're awake so that you can go to sleep again. Yeah. So they couldn't get it, but this is the problem.
Now, unless they read, Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker, pause the video right now, go and watch it. They're not gonna understand.
Exactly.
They're not gonna have a frame of reference.
But they
what you're talking about.
They just think to me like I'm stupid.
Yeah, because they just think sleep is just what you do.
Yeah,
it's just what you do.
I'm tired.
Have you ever heard? Yeah, have you ever heard someone say these words? It's just what you do. For example, and you're just like, there's nothing that is just what we do. Nothing.
Exactly.
You're stupid, is what we're saying.
You're stupid. So yeah, is that you done?
Yeah, we're done.
Perfect. We can end with quote of the day.
Quote of the day. I have not failed. I have just found 10,000 ways that didn't work. That was Thomas Edison trying to create the light bulb. There's some dispute on whether he actually created a light bulb or not, whether it was Nikola Tesla. Lewis Latimer. Well done. Surprised you know that, actually.
Look at you. Look at me.
So you know about some black history, do you?
Yeah, of course I do.
Okay.
But I'm black.
Man
like you.
Negro taught himself to read.
I'm surprised you know that I know.
I'm surprised that you know that I know that you know that I know.
I'm surprised. Till next time.